The movie begins in Victorian London. We see a woman standing on a bridge and the face of the woman is not seen. Then she jumps off the bridge, taking her life. The scene shifts and a woman is seen playing the piano, but she is playing piano very strangely and awkwardly like a 2-year-old. During this, a man can be seen walking down a flight of stairs. We see that the man has a deformed face. That man approaches her and watches her playing piano from a distance. The scene shifts to a dining table where we see both of them eating. The man is named Godwin Baxter, who is an eccentric surgeon, and the woman on the other end is Godwin's ward, a childlike young woman named Bella. While they are eating, a huge bubble comes out of Godwin's mouth, and when it pops in the air, Bella claps and gets excited like a little child. After eating, the man approaches Bella and kisses her forehead, expressing his fatherly love. Then we see Bella walking strangely in the house while her pet dog, which has the head of a duck, follows her. These strange things in the house show that Godwin is some kind of a strange scientist. Then we see Godwin giving a lecture to his students as he is showing them how to perform a surgery. Some of the students call him a monster because of his deformed face, but another student, Max McCandles, defends him, stating that he is a great surgeon and his research is groundbreaking. Godwin asks Max to walk with him after the class. After the class, Godwin comes back home with his student Max McCandles. He offers Max to become his assistant, which he accepts, and he becomes the assistant to the eccentric surgeon. Meanwhile, Bella is playing around the house and throwing things on the floor like a child. As soon as she sees Godwin, she gets really happy. She runs to him and hugs him. Godwin introduces her to Max, but she looks at him suspiciously and punches him in the face. Max comments that she is a very pretty retard. He learns that she suffered a brain injury and that her physical body and mind are not synchronized, but the good thing is that she is progressing rapidly. Max finds her stunning. Godwin says that he will have to meticulously note her progression and ask Max if he will do it, and Max agrees. Bella is playing nearby and pees her pants. Godwin asks their maid to clean it up. The next morning, Bella wakes up and Max arrives there. He sits with her at the table for breakfast and watches her, and he also takes notes, and she even throws her food at him. Godwin is performing surgery while the maid is assisting him. Max and Bella are also present there. Bella picks up a scalpel and says that she wants to do it too. Godwin tells her that she can only perform on dead ones. She moves over to a cadaver. She first checks out that cadaver's private parts, and then she stabs the cadaver in both eyes. Max keeps watching her and takes notes. Next, we see Bella riding a bicycle in the house. There is a rooster that barks like a dog, another of Godwin's freak experiments. Some other such experiments include a hen with a dog's face and a goat with a duck's head. Bella feeds these freak creatures. Max keeps watching Bella and he takes note. He narrates his notes to Godwin, how Bella is now on 15 words a day and how her hair grows fast. It is time for Max to go home and Godwin greets him, but he has some questions. He asks Godwin where Bella came from. Godwin does not answer and says that his task is to collect data. Max leaves without any answer. At night, Bella lies in bed with Godwin, who reads her bedtime story involving a kid and his parents. Bella asks him about her parents in broken language, and he tells her that she is an orphan and that her parents were his friends. They were brave explorers who died in a landslide in America on an exploration trip. He tells her that they sent her to him to care for her. Bella feels bad about it and calls herself Poor Bella. Godwin then tucks her in the bed and wishes her good night. The next day, while sitting with Max, Bella is looking at the map, asking him about different places, and then she asks about his pen and book and why he writes all the time. He tells her that he has to note her nutrition intake, and she then asks him to show her other places. Bella gets bored and she goes to the rooftop, and Max tells her that this is dangerous. Bella looks around and even throws a piece of rubble down. Max notices some stitch marks on her neck. Bella goes to Godwin and asks him to take her outside, but he refuses, saying that he has work to do. She says that Max can take her. She has never been outside and Godwin refuses to let her go out. He says that he has created a perfectly safe and entertaining environment inside, so she does not need to go out. Bella gets angry and she picks up jars from a nearby table and slams them onto the ground, breaking it. Godwin relents and agrees to take her outside. He, Max, and Bella go out in a horse cart. Godwin tells her that there are many things outside that can kill her, and they take Bella to the woods. She gets very happy there. They eat there, and then Godwin tells Bella that a storm is approaching, so they must return. While returning, Max asks why he scares Bella, and Godwin says that she is an experiment and to keep the results pure, he must control the environment. On their way back, Bella asks Godwin to get her ice cream, but he refuses. This makes her angry, and she throws a screaming temper, and Godwin has to sedate her. After getting Bella to her room, Max starts to look around and finds a file on brain transplants and questions Godwin, threatening to go to the police. Godwin tells him that a pregnant woman named Victoria killed herself by leaping off a bridge, and it is the same woman we saw at the beginning of the movie. When Godwin found her lifeless body, it was still warm, so he resurrected her by replacing at least parts of her brain with that of her unborn fetus, giving the infant Bella an adult's body, which resulted in Bella waking and having to relearn a lot of motor functions as well as social skills. She shows no memory of her past life. As her intelligence rapidly develops, she becomes curious about the outside world and herself. By exploring her own body, she discovers masturbation and sexual pleasure. She tells Max about it and even demonstrates, and he tells her that it is not okay. Later at dinner, we learn that Godwin is deformed because of many experiments his father did on him. Godwin says that he thinks Max has fallen in love with Bella. With Godwin's encouragement, Max asks for Bella's hand in marriage. Bella accepts, and Godwin puts a condition that Max must live with him always. Next, we see Godwin meeting with Duncan Wedderburn. Duncan Wedderburn is a debauched lawyer whom Godwin hired to overhaul the nuptial contract. Duncan says that he has to use the toilet and leaves, and he goes exploring around the house. He gets to Bella's room and meets her. He says that he had to meet the woman who inspired such a marriage contract. He tells Bella that by her contract she will have to live with Max and Godwin there and not go to the city. He suggestively touches her and tells her his name before leaving. Later, when Bella is peasing herself, he climbs up to her room. He wants to get in, but she gestures for him to come to the roof, and he has to climb to the roof. Once there, they talk, and Duncan says that Godwin is keeping her a prisoner and he is there to free her. He tells her that he is going to Lisbon and invites her to come with him. Bella says that Godwin will not allow her and she will not be safe with him. Duncan says that he is not asking Godwin, he is asking her. Elsewhere, Godwin is dissecting a brain. When Bella arrives there, she tells him that she is excited and she will run away at midnight with Duncan. She has begun to crave autonomy and says that Godwin wishes to stop her and he has held her too tight. Godwin suggests that they can travel, she, Max, and him. She says that she will marry Max, but first she will go with Duncan as he seems interesting. Godwin says that he can't let her go, but she says that if he doesn't, then she will hate him. Hearing this, Godwin decides to let her go. The maid helps Bella pack her bag. Max arrives there and he asks Bella to stay, stating that Duncan is manipulating her and he has a way of getting under a naive woman's skin. Bella says that with Duncan she feels a heat in her body. Max pleads that they are engaged, but she says the same thing, that they will get married once she returns. Max gets angry. He says that he will deal with this man himself and he will beat him badly. Seeing this, Bella kisses him and he seems to calm down, but she sedates him with chloroform and he passes out. Godwin arrives there and sews some money in one of Bella's clothes. He kisses her goodbye and checks for Max's pulse before leaving. Max later wakes up to a chicken with a pig's head on his chest. He comes out of the room and sees Godwin lying on the floor drunk. Max asks him why he didn't stop her and Godwin replies that she has free will. He pours a drink for Max, who is still regretting not stopping Bella. In this fashion, Bella runs off with lawyer Duncan Wedderburn to have an explicit affair. A scene shows Bella and Duncan getting intimate. After that, they go to a bar and there he orders oysters for her. She has never tried oysters before, so he shows her how to eat them and then they both drink. Bella and Duncan embark on a grand journey, starting in Lisbon, where the two engage in frequent sex, in addition to other forms of hedonism. They try new things and foods, and after that, they return to their rooms to be intimate and do it in a very flamboyant way. After being finished, they lie together in bed. When she asks him to go again, he says that he is a wild man, but even he has his limits and he can't do it again at the moment. He tells her that it's not too late to fall in love with him. When he falls asleep, Bella gets dressed and heads out. She roams around the city and eats some delicious food. She even comes across a lady singing while playing a cello. She then notices a man and a woman, probably a couple, arguing in the streets. When she gets close to them, the woman lashes out at her and screams. After this, Bella returns. In the hotel room, Duncan is worried and is strolling in the room, but he assumes a careless sitting position when he hears footsteps. When she enters the room, he asks her where she disappeared, to which she replies childishly, baffling Duncan. He then asks her where she went. She tells him that she went out to eat, but she lost the way back. Duncan tells her it is dangerous to go out without her. She retaliates, saying she had an adventure and she is fine. Later, when they are having dinner with another couple, Bella, with her childish and bold demeanor, embarrasses Duncan in front of them. She spits her chewed food and even tries to punch the crying baby, and Duncan has to physically stop her. He takes her to a side and tells her to behave while getting angry. Bella slaps Duncan and then kisses him before they rejoin the table. Godwin and Max are at the dining table where they get Bella's letter. Having decided to let her go, Godwin started a new experiment with a young woman named Felicity, who matures much more slowly than Bella. Bella and Duncan continue their adventure, but she becomes difficult for him to control, so he smuggles her onto a cruise ship for a change of scenery. On the ship, she befriends fellow passengers Martha and Harry, who open her mind to philosophy. Initially attracted to Bella's childlike naivete, Duncan attempts to stunt her growth to no avail. He becomes increasingly exasperated and begins to indulge in drinking and gambling. During a stop at Alexandria, Bella is distraught after witnessing the miserable poverty of the locals and donates Duncan's winnings, which are in turn stolen by the crew. She entrusts Duncan's winnings to unscrupulous members of the crew who falsely promise to give it to the needy. Unable to afford the rest of the trip, the two are kicked off the ship at Marseille, after which they make their way to Paris. Having run out of funds and seeking money and accommodation, Bella begins working at a brothel, further enraging Duncan and resulting in his mental breakdown, finally leading her to abandon him. At the brothel, she comes under the tutelage of Madame Swiney and befriends fellow prostitute Toinette, with whom she begins a relationship and who introduces her to socialism. A terminally ill Godwin asks Max to bring Bella to him. Max locates her after tracking down Duncan, who has been institutionalized after his breakdown. Returning to London, Bella reconciles with Godwin and renews her plans to marry Max. The two are interrupted by Duncan and General Alfie Blessington, Victoria's husband, on their wedding day. Alfie, addressing Bella as Victoria, reveals that they were married before her disappearance and that he has come to reclaim her. She abandons Max to learn of her past life, but quickly discovers Alfie's violent and sadistic nature and realizes that she had committed suicide to escape their abusive relationship. Alfie confines Bella to his mansion and threatens her at gunpoint to submit to genital mutilation, demanding she drink a chloroform-laced cocktail to sedate her for the procedure. She tosses the cocktail in his face. After a struggle, Alfie accidentally shoots himself in the foot and then passes out from the sedative. Godwin dies peacefully with Bella and Max at his side. Bella decides to carry on Godwin's work by also becoming a surgeon with the help of Max and Toinette, and transplants a goat's brain into Alfie's head, while Felicity's intelligence steadily progresses. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.